Hi everyone and welcome to the new episode of my podcast. My name is Tati and I'm a knitwear designer. I'm recording this episode for my Patreon members who will have the primarily access to it, and as soon as the new episode comes out on Patreon, this will go live on YouTube. So if you want to stay up to date and see the news first, please join me over there. Otherwise, hope you will find this episode inspiring, and let's get started. I told you last time that I'm about to go to Ukraine and visit my family for a couple of weeks. So before I go, I thought I will sit down and record this episode and show you some of the things that I forgot to show you last time, and some of the things that I promised to show you and didn't. So this is my cat Kati. She's ginger female, which many people confuse with a male. Well, sometimes she does behave like a bastard, but she's supposed to be a lady, and she seems like will be accompanying me today. I will start with my Laneus shawl, which is almost ready to see the world. I showed you last time the shawl, and you can see it in the previous episode. But what I forgot to tell you is the yarn that I used, and for my Patreon members, I will have a special surprise after the release day. I have some yarn that I would like to gift to one of them, and that will be really nice. So let me show you which yarn did I use for my sample. And if you remember, it looked like this. So this is how my Laneus shawl looks like. You need two colors for this one, the main color and the contrasting color. So for the main color, I'm using here a quartz from Newton, one strand. It's quite light, it's something like fingering weight, and I'm holding it together with one strand of silk mohair. And for this one, I picked plum clay from Knitting for Olive, and it's a bit purplish kind of thing, and that is because the quartz color of Newton was a bit too pale for me. It was more in the grayish with a bit of pink, but it was too cold for my complexion, and I needed to add a bit of warmth and depth to the color. So I went with this shade of silk mohair to have this a bit of even melange effect, and this is how it turned out. Let me show you what I have left from this colorway. So this is the Newton that I used. It's called Quartz. And this is how it looks. Come on. Yeah. So it is very grey in a way, but a beautiful grey with shades of pinks. And for me, for my taste, it needed a bit of spicing up. So I did like this. But basically, this color is so versatile that you could add any shade of pink or what do I have, like clay color or something like that, and it would look really, really nice. Or, well, actually, so many things you can do with it because it's a very good base color. This will be the yarn that I will be giving away. For the shawl, I used around 150 grams of this yarn, and I have left, let me see, 188. This is what I have left. So this will be a really nice treat for someone who always wanted to try Newton but never managed to grab any of the plates because it usually sells out really quickly. And for someone who always wanted to try, and I think you will enjoy it. And for the contrasting color here, I used Nosiden Oxalis, which is running really low in my stash. There is just a tiny little ball left, but it's probably my favorite color of all Nosiden shades so far. And I'm holding it, the contrasting color double. And this whole thing is explained in the pattern, and there is like a separate video where I show you how to do all the color work. So the whole pattern repeat here, I show you how to do row by row on the video. So there shouldn't be any challenges when it comes to the color work here, and I hope it will be a really nice and enjoyable pattern for all skill levels of knitters. So yeah, this is what I forgot to tell you last time, and with this I will wrap up the Laneus shawl and move on to the one that I'm wearing. And what I'm wearing is my Pictus pullover. I chose the name Pictus as from Latin, sort of decorated, or embellished or ornamented in a way. So because it is there is so much color work here. The whole body is worked with a stranded color work, and then on the underarms there are sections of color work, and part of the sleeve is worked with color work. So there is a lot of color work on this one, and I hope colorwork lovers like myself will enjoy it immensely. We are currently testing this pattern. Guide, come here. This way. Ходи, злізай. Моркало. Ходи. Ой, потягуся. So yeah, we are currently testing the pattern, and there will be a bit of a challenge here with the charts, because the underarm sections for different sizes. The underarm sections for different sizes are charted separately, so you will need to follow the chart for this section. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new star here. The star is born, and then for the body underarm section you will also have a separate chart, and for each size it will be different. And I actually think that it's a really nice idea. You of course can just do this kind of seeding with contrasting color. Oh, she wouldn't stop. With contrasting color, but in many sizes you can still fit one repeat of the color work here, and it will be in different place, and yeah, it's so playful and really, really nice, I think. Мурчик, ну ти ж заважаєш. А? Ходи на ручки. Ходи. So, and what I want to tell you about this one. Oh, this is so confusing. Кать, Морковь, що ти хочеш? Морчик, Морковь. А це за що? А кусь за що? Зараз підеш геть. Підеш? Підеш зараз геть. Угу. Міндюк. Okay, I got rid of her. Let me tell you which yarn I used for this one. And the main color here is my favorite yarn from Ireland. And this is of course not sponsored. I've made a lot of things from it. And this is Darnie from Studio Donegal. And it is a fingering sport weight, I would say. Because it fluffs up really nicely. It's a woolen spoon. It's 100% lamb's wool and 2-ply. And there aren't too many colors, but I made a sweater in there. This is an oatmeal. And I made a sweater, 2 sweaters actually, in there. I don't remember the color, but it's like burgundy wine color. This is my Carcade pulli, and the contrasting color is oatmeal, but the heavier weight. They have an iron weight also base. And this is already quite a few years old, and I'm wearing it a lot. And I'm also made another sweater in the same color, actually, in the oatmeal, and with the same contrasting color. This was my Florarium Light, and this is also quite old now. And why I'm saying that, because it wears really nicely. It does fold a little bit, but there's nothing wrong with that. It becomes a really soft and squishy fabric. That is just really nice and cozy to wear. And these are my spring, early autumn go-to sweaters. So it's just really nice to throw on top of a dress, of a light dress, or just with a skirt, and not to have any layers underneath. So it's really nice and soft to the skin, and that way I can cover this transition season with just having this sort of sweater and nothing underneath, and that keeps me warm. So this is my favorite yarn from Ireland that I'm always buying when I'm there. And I also have it in mustard color. It's a bit of a yellow side of the mustard, but it's been with me for a while now, and I still didn't figure out what to do with it. I want a nice sweater from it, and they also have a nice green. Yeah, so it's a nice, quite affordable. How much is it? It's like 10 euros per 100 gram, which is quite okay. And yeah, it works with many patterns because it's a fingering weight. And if you are over in Ireland, or you can get hold of it, this yarn, it's a recommendation. And the contrasting color here, something fell down. And the contrasting color here is I think it's called Sunset, but it has numbers. Okay, number 5585, because it comes in a cone. This is also Irish yarn. To be honest, I don't exactly understand how the production is arranged, because I think it is all produced in one place. They all have the same shades and everything. It's just being sold with different labels. So I believe this is the original, I don't know, Kilcara yarns, or what is the original label of it. And it is produced for weaving, I believe. So the yarn is covered with a bit of like a special treatment that it keeps the thread more, I don't know what it does. It makes it less fluffy, and probably more strong, just for the weaving. And then after they wash it, it becomes like all this nice fluff thing that you have in the yarn that is actually for hand knitting. So this one is untreated, and it's already fluffy and nice. And this one has a bit of a treatment on top of it, so if you don't like the feel on your hands, which I sometimes, most of the time, don't. So I actually make a skein of it, and then I wash it, and then I like wind it in a ball and knit from a ball. So this one is already washed. You probably won't see it, but it is already much fluffier. So this one is washed, much fluffier than the other. But yeah, there are lots of colors of these ones. I will try to find a link for them and a link in the description box. But they have like literally a lot of beautiful colors with beautiful speckles and really nice semi-shades. So I really like these yarns, but as I say, I bought this one probably 6 or 7 years ago, and it was like a full 1 kilo bobbin, and I've only used it for contrasting color things like this sweater and this one, and you see it opens up really nicely, and there is nothing wrong with it. You can easily work with this yarn. So I used this one for contrasting color on this one. And if you ask me what is my signature, this is probably the color combination that you can recognize me by. And sometimes I have people asking, well, why don't you use blues or like all the different other colors, like, as if for me there are only two. But I don't like blues. Well, I can admire them on other people, but I just don't wear them. And why would I if I don't? So it is always difficult for me to work with, for instance, companies or magazines who send you the yarn and they pick the color. Because if I don't like the color, that becomes more difficult to visualize and design something. So for me, it is very important to have the combination of the initial inspiration and the yarn, and to see how this whole thing come together. Yeah. So this one, I'm hoping to have it out in June. I will be back from Ukraine, and then I will need a couple of weeks to catch up with the things, and then we will have it out. And it is quite nice for summer as well. It's very light, and as I said, you can wear it on your naked body, and I think that will be quite okay to have it out in summer. And then I will see what I will do for the summer, because usually what we do is we need accessories, right? Or I don't know, do you need a lot of summer stuff? I don't usually need summer things. Like I don't like cotton, it's too cold for me, just the touch of it. So I need wool all year round. And for the summer, I think I will work on some hats and maybe mittens with some really nice pattern. And I have an idea for a vest. My Forest Keys vest was a big success, so I'm hoping to make something really nice as well in that direction. So yeah, that's like a roughly plan for the next months or so. I also noticed with this one there is a raw edge here, and I know not all people like it. And I also saw in the test that for many people, depending on the yarn they choose and how tightly they cast on, the edge is rolling. So for those people, I will also include an option to have a ribbing edge here, so you don't have to struggle with the rolling and untidy edge of the neck. The rest is very simple here. The sleeve, it starts a little bit wider here on the upper arm, and that's because I have a difference between gauge, the collarwork gauge, and just the stockinette gauge. So there is a bit of a fluff here, but personally I don't mind it. It's I don't like my sleeves very fitted. I know that some really like them like that's not for me, so I enjoy them being like this, and then I can always roll them up. I'm always like this because I need my hands free. Yeah, just a simple ribbing, and the same with the body. What actually I often got asked on the tests, why don't I switch to a smaller needle on the hem? And that is because I don't like my hem gathering the body. So if you switch to a smaller needle, your hem will pull your fabric closer to you, basically to your body, and then it will create this shape. And I like my bodies like this because my hips are wider, and that's nice, I think. And you have this really nice flowy edge. So I work my hem on the same needle that I want to work my body, with just simple ribbing, and then finishing with tubular bind off. So that's basically it. That's what I have to tell about this one. I don't know, if you have any other questions, please let me know in the comments below, and let's move to something new. The last knitting related thing that I will show you today is my Funky Turtle, and that's a sweater I designed for 52 weeks of easy knits from Laneus publishing. So the book is finally with me. I don't remember I showed you or not, but here's the book. And actually in May I can finally publish the pattern on my website and on Ravelry. So this is how it looks in the book. It's very much in the end under number 51, and I think it is one of the nicest patterns in this book, and it's very easy because it was the easy knit. So I designed it very beginner friendly, and it is also very playful because it was my first time working with color blocks, and I also thought of it as a project that you can do with your yarn leftovers. So let me show you how it looks in real life. I have my sample bag, and here you have a really nice turtleneck, and then a double band, and the yoke is decorated with a very simple this kind of stitches, textured stitches, and then you have a split here with a bit of an accent of another color, and your body and your sleeves are worked in different colors. You can also do sleeves in different colors, like one pink, the other one is, I don't know, another color, blue, if you like blue. And then the same accent on the transition to the hem and sleeves. So there is nothing super complicated here. You have short rows, but you can skip them. What else? The color work is very simple. It's just, yeah, how many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of rounds of color work on each of the sections, and the rest is simple stockinette that does not require a lot of thinking. So you can just make the sweater as a present to someone, or yeah, take with you on holidays where you just sit and knit and use your stash for things. You can do stripes. So it's just like a blank canvas basically for anyone to just try something very basic, I would say. this could be also in different colors, these sections. So yeah, I hope the pattern is already in English and Finnish, and I hope to maybe translate it to a few more languages like French and Spanish, maybe German, but that will be later. Otherwise, I hope to have the pattern out on 11th of May, and yeah, it will be available on all the platforms. I made my sample in Highland Decay from Life in Long Grass. This is actually a nice trick from Caroline. When I first agreed to make a design for them for their issue 5 of they have a magazine, the Life in Long Grass. They have their own magazine that they publish, I don't know, twice a year or maybe once a year. I'm not exactly sure, but I made a design for their issue number 5. It was fall 2021. 22 I skipped because I was too busy with processing war and everything. So I didn't take any commissions last year. So this is so the first time. Sorry, I'm rambling. So the first time I agreed to do something, she sent me a huge box of yarn, like a huge box of yarn, and I was I didn't have where to store it, of course. And then I also felt compelled to use their yarns for my designs because I had to use it. I just couldn't leave it lying around. Yeah. You see how they bought my, I don't know, allegiance? So I used the yarn for this design, and this is just one of the colors that I still have on my shelves. And it's a very nice squishy, let me tell you, 225 meters in 100 grams. So it is, they say it is decay, but to me it is a bit of a worsted weight. It is thicker than your usual decay, I would say. And I think I knitted on 4.5 needles. So which is quite thick for decay. For me, it is a worsted weight. Yeah. So that's about the yarn. Let's see. What else did I forget to tell you, as always? I've been asking my patrons about what kind of content they would like to see more. So maybe I'll be doing more writing and posting more on Patreon, things that are happening behind the scenes, things that are not necessarily shown on Instagram. The thing is, Instagram has been growing very quickly, and at some point I lost control of who are there, what kind of people are there. I felt a bit insecure about sharing more private things out there, so I feel like Patreon is becoming more of a safe and private space for me, where I know the people who follow me, and I can open up more easily there. And the more Instagram grows, the less connection I feel with people there, so it is becoming less personal, I think. But yeah, just to give you an idea how it's going to evolve in the future, I will try to focus more on Patreon and see how things go. So basically that's it. I think I covered everything. I wanted to thank you all for your support after the last video where I shared about my struggles. it's difficult to talk about, but there is nothing shameful in it. So if you're not feeling well, it's okay. You should be sharing with the people around you, with the doctor. Please do so. I've been seeing psychologist for now, what it is, February till June now, and well, actually how it works, you go to a GP, you complain that you're not feeling well, and he sends you to in-house psychologist who is basically there to make sure that you don't kill yourself. Well, yes, so she is not going to offer you therapy or anything. You will just be coming regularly, you can talk. Well, she will support you in a way, but she's not the one who will be treating you like properly. Because her role is to refer your father to a trained specialist who will do the treatment and who knows different techniques how to help you and stuff like that. So she's basically covering this period of waiting before you actually get into proper practice. And yeah, I've been waiting all the time, and now today is actually my first intake session with the practitioner, with the like a separate psychologist who has a practice and will hopefully be nice enough to establish the trust again. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm very anxious, and I don't know if I should trust this person and how we are going to, well, start all over, because I felt like I already opened up to another person and told basically everything, and now you have to go through all of it again. So I have questions to the system, but yeah, I guess I will know today how that goes and how it's gonna work. Apart of that, I am feeling a little bit better because of my medication. So my thyroid got also freaky a little bit at the end of winter, and I think it was part of these really dark times that my hormones were off. So yeah, it's much better than it was in February, but still there are triggers like connected to war that that are not going anywhere, and I am going to work on it. So just a rough truth as it is. I don't feel ashamed talking about it. It's normal, and there are lots of people who go through the same thing. They just don't talk about it or don't talk to you about it, and we have to recognize that. So yeah, I am still volunteering. I couldn't quit 100% as it was recommended to me by my psychologist. So I felt like I had to support them, like I couldn't do otherwise, and that's also fine. So yeah, I am really thankful for all of your comments under the last video, and I'm really thankful for your support on Patreon and here on YouTube. Thank you all very much for choosing to knit my patterns, and I will talk to you very soon, maybe from Ukraine, but most likely from my office here back in Netherlands. So take good care of yourselves, stay healthy, happy, and I see you soon. Bye.